warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To begin, let us recite the Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. To gain more barakah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, today's ceremony will begin with the recitation of some verses of the Quran. Without further ado, I would like to call upon Brother Muhammad Fatih. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sabbaha lillahi ma fis samawati wa ma fil ardi wa huwal azizul hakim. Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu lima taquluna ma la taf'alun. Kabura maqtan 'inda Allahi an taqulu ma la taf'alun. Inna Allaha yuhibbul ladzina yuqatiluna fi sabilihi saffan كأنه بنيان مرصوص وإذ قال موسى لقومه قوم لم تؤذونني وقد تعلموا أني رسول الله إليكم فلما زاغوا أزاغ الله قلوبهم والله لا يهدي القوم الفاسقين. وإذ قال عيسى ابن مريم يا بني إسرائيل إني رسول الله إليكم مصدقا لما بين يدي من التوراة ومبشرا برسول يأتي من بعد اسمه أحمد فلما جاءهم بالبينات قالوا هذا سحر مبين صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you, Brother Muhammad Fatih. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, all praise be to Allah. We are gathered here tonight for the very important event, which is sharing moment life after graduation, career prospects and challenges. This program is organized by Council for Future Leaders, Choral of Kuliah of Islamic University Malaysia and Human Sciences. The nature of the program is to expose the undergraduate students of IRKHS about the life of career after graduating of IIUM. Thus, we have invited 3 panelists from IIUM's alumni to share their experiences and give some advices to us. Before that, I would like to introduce our panelists tonight. First is Brother Ahmad Rifdi Humaidi bin Muhammad Hiyar, Protection Assistant in United Nations High Commission for Refugees. Next, Sister Hilda binti Zamri, Program Officer of Relief Operations Department, Mercy Malaysia. And last but not least, Brother Nazri bin Ahmad, Matriculation Lecturer of CFS IIUM. Without further ado, I would like to invite our panelists tonight and I pass the floor to our moderator, Sis Alia Karina. فلتفضل مشكورة.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And thank you, my dear MC. Welcome to the Sharing Moment Live after graduation, organized by Choral, Council for Future Leaders IRKHS, in conjunction with Unity Carnival 2011. I'm Alia Karina Muhammad Ramsi, and I will be your moderator tonight. So, let us break some ice. How are you guys today? Good? Okay, since this is a Unity Carnival, so I was told that it's a collaborative effort from all the department under the Kuliah of IRKHS. So could I see some hands from Kuliah of Psychology? Wow, okay. Give yourself a round of applause. Okay, how about Kuliah of Communication? Alright, congratulations for coming. How about Kuliah of Sociology? Anyone? Okay, I see one hand. IRK? Any bar? B? Yeah, there you go. How about Benno? Any Benno students? Wow, proud. Okay, give a round of applause to everyone. Thank you. Oh, political science, anyone? History? Wow. Okay, that's a lot of people at the back. Thank you for coming. Okay. Life after graduation. Pretty scary, huh? Is it scary?
Yes.
No? Okay. Well, I mean, being a final semester student myself, I find it overwhelming even to get this topic, okay? And don't get me wrong, I am excited to graduate, but to dwell into my future life, it's definitely something I'm yet to be sure of. But let's not kid ourselves. The pressure of being in your final year, it does stresses you at times, right? We are often asked by our parents, our uncles, our aunties, and even our friends about questions like, hey, what do you want to do after graduate? Or, then there's always people going to say, oh, you should study your master's. And then, being IIUM student, there's also a dilemma of where young marriages is highly encouraged. And yep, even I am not spared, being advised for, just get yourself married before, further your studies. But with all being said, the question we should be asking ourselves, however, are we prepared to face what lies ahead of us? Are we ready to take up a bigger role out there? Are we certain with the choices we make? And have we equipped ourselves with the sufficient knowledge and skills to get ourselves ready for the future? Well, worry not, because today we have not one, not two, but three humble yet superb graduates from our kuliah of IRKHS, whom to many of us is a friend, a role model, a brother, a sister, but mostly an inspiration and aspiration to us. A round of applause. Thank you. Okay, Alhamdulillah, thank you all for coming. I'm honored to be given a chance to sitting right next to all of you. Well, as you can see right in front of you, these are the chosen one and the future graduates of IIUM, whom are eager and excited to learn more from all of your experience. Well, in the Quran, Allah has mentioned that not a leaf falls without Allah's knowledge. And the fact that we are all gathered here shows how lucky we are to be chosen by Allah to gain this knowledge, insyaAllah. So, they say in Malay, tak kenal maka tak cinta. So, let me introduce a little bit about, well, not a little bit, just a brief introduction. The one sitting right next to me is Sister Hilda Zamri, Program Officer of Relief Operation Department, Mercy Malaysia. Okay, and right next to her is Brother Rifdi, Humaidi, welcome back. Protection Assistant in United Nations High Commissioner for Refugee Kuala Lumpur. That's a mouthful, okay? And Brother Nazri Ahmad, a Matriculation Lecturer, CFS IIUM. Okay, so let us break some ice. First question. Can you share a little bit of your background? Perhaps, how long have you been here and how long have you left since from IUM? And so a little bit of your background, where you're from, and your kuliah, your department, your major, yeah? So the first question, probably Sister Hilda.
Assalamualaikum and good evening to everyone. First of all, I would like to thank all of you to be here, to take your time to be here with us tonight. And I would like to thank the Choral Society for organizing such event. I wasn't expected to be here. All of a sudden, I had a call and they told me to come here and, give some inspirational talk to all of you. I hope that, I can, help you guys to be inspired. Who knows? All right. I'm Hilda Zamri. I graduated last year, actually, 2011. I majored in political science. I'm totally fresh and I'm 24 years old. I Originally, I was born in Perak, but I was raised in KL. And I started, right now I'm a program relief officer in Mercy Malaysia. Have you heard of Mercy Malaysia before? Who knows about Mercy Malaysia? Okay, what is it? What does it do? You guys don't have a mic, right? Okay, basically, Mercy Malaysia is an international non-governmental organization in which we provide humanitarian assistance globally, focusing on medical relief, health-related development for the vulnerables in crisis and non-crisis situations. For example, we have responded to disaster-stricken zones, areas, as well as conflict zones. In Somalia, in Sudan, we've been there. We've been to Myanmar. We have projects in over 20 countries. And however, we are actively doing developmental projects in 15 countries right now, which right now I'm handling 3 countries, which I handle and manage projects in 3 countries, namely Malaysia, Indonesia, and Afghanistan. And I've traveled to these countries, so except for Afghanistan, because we are actually banned for going into Afghanistan because it's really dangerous and it's not secure. Also, I traveled to Sri Lanka as well. So a lot of my task is to engage in humanitarian assistance. So yeah, so far that's it. Maybe I should move on to other speakers.
Okay. How about you, Rifdi?
Oh, you know my name? Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to everyone. Thank you for coming and thank you for inviting me. So just like Sister Hilda, I was shocked also because got a call from Sister telling me to come to give talk. Okay, my name is Ahmad Rifdi Humaidi bin Muhammad Khiar. Can call me Ahmad Rifdi Humaidi. Glamour name Dafi. But in my office, they used to call me baby. I know, baby, I think because I'm cute maybe, I don't know. Okay, I was born on 12th May 1986. Now I'm 26 years old, still fresh. Okay, graduated from IIUM last year also, 10-11. From Department of Sociology and Anthropology. I'm from KL, okay, now residing in Temple Park, Rawang. Working wise, okay, I'm currently working in United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees as a protection assistant under the registration unit. Do you guys know about UNHCR? No idea? Okay, basically it just same like Mercy. You go there to help people in Somalia, basically in the health background. Okay, but for us, we are assisting and give protection to those who flee from their original country. For example, from Somalia, from Syria, we have from Myanmar, especially the Rohingyas. Okay, we give protection to them. So now what my position as protection assistant is to interview the asylum seeker before they can move to the next level or next what we call refugee status determination. Once they gone through the RSD, they will be entitled as refugee. There are the 2 different terms, asylum seeker and refugee. Okay, that's all I think. Okay, I'm still single but not available. Okay.
How about you, Rifdi?
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to thank the organizers for inviting me to this event. Like, I guess the other 2 speakers, I got this call one day saying, hey, you're Nazrik, right? I say, yeah. Can you come and give a talk at UAE? Huh? Talk? What talk? How do you get my number in the first place? Who's this? Yeah, so I was like, okay, why not? It's a talk. It seems like a fun idea at the time. Okay, so a bit about myself. Okay, originally, my name first. My name is Muhammad Nazrik bin Nur Ahmad. People tend to mispronounce my name back then. They mistyped my name in the library as Nanrik. I Okay, why? Alright. I joined this university, I am Gomba, originally as a kite student under quantity surveying. And then I switched to the program, BEN program, Bachelor of English Language and Literature. And then that was in 2008. Then I graduated quite recently in January 2012. And then back in my student years, I was involved, the first major event I was involved in UIA was Pesta Pantemakum 2011. And then I was later involved in ELITES, the English Language Society. And then I was involved in the Torch, the official newspaper of the campus. And then when I graduated, I originally got a job at the Malaysia Convention and Exhibition Bureau. I was originally a business development executive, where my job was to bring in potential businesses and conferences into the nation. And then after a few months, I believe around May or June, I got a call from UIA saying, "Hey, Nazri, are you interested in teaching CFS IUM?" So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So yeah, I'm teaching in CFS IUM now. So are there any BEN students here in the audience?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, that's good. So, okay, about my job, okay, so to most of you, okay, lecturer, teach students and then give them marks, maybe a bit strict every now and then. But to me, I see it as a really big role. To me, being a young lecturer, I see my job as very important because I have to guide these people to be better people in the future. These are the future leaders of the Ummah. So as a young person, hopefully I understand them more. So with my experiences back in UIA and from my limited work experience before I work in CFS, I try to inspire these students to be better people. For example, we have students from all over Malaysia, maybe from the East Coast, maybe from the West Coast, maybe from East Malaysia itself. And all these students have many different backgrounds, many different problems. So to me, it's about figuring out how do I help all of these students to be better people in the end. So that's my job. All right?
Where exactly in CFS? The one in PJ?
Yeah, the one in PJ. There's no more campus in Ilai, so
Oh, yes.
now arts and sciences are both in PJ.
Okay.
So I'm under the Department of RKHS.
And you are teaching English?
I'm teaching BEN subjects. Basically, I'm teaching linguistics and oral communication.
Okay. Alright. Okay, that's cool. Anyone wants to add to the question? No? Okay. Alright. So, okay, we'll move to the second question. Could you share a little bit of your experience studying in UIA and how it has affected your life after graduating? I mean, I'm sure being a student in IUM, there are some bittersweet moments and, when you join clubs, when you participate in classes. So what are your experience studying here in IUM itself? So probably Brother Nazri, would you like to answer that first?
Alright, so experience in UIA, being a UIM student, how it feels. Okay, originally when I applied for university, I didn't really know why I applied for IUM. I think one of the main reasons I chose it was because, it's in PJ, it's close to home. Because I used to live like 5 minutes away from CFS back in PJ. Because I didn't know what IUM was all about in the first place. Like, okay, it's in PJ, it's close to home, so I'll apply for that. So, a few days before I joined IU, I was like, what did I do? Why did I choose this place? So I was scared. I initially thought that UIA was all about, this is what my initial thoughts were. I thought UIA is all about people wearing turbans and covering their faces and very evil people. That's what I thought at first. But when I came here, I was like, wow, it really changed my life. I mean, I met many different people, and I have to say that I wasn't really an Islamic person back before I joined UIA, but alhamdulillah, when I joined UIA, I met so many amazing people who imparted a lot of knowledge to me. They shared so many experiences. I was friends with many Tahfiz students, so I learned a lot about the Quran from them. I met many amazing lecturers as well. And then when it comes to co-curricular, right? Curriculum, I joined quite a few activities. I mentioned just now I was in the Torch, I was in ELITES, I was in Pesta Pantemakum. So I got a chance to work with many different interesting personalities, and it really opened my mind like there's more to the human interaction than what meets the eyes. Alright? It's like I get to learn, for example, maybe someone from the East Coast, they might think that, okay, this is the way we should approach a program. Maybe someone who grew up in the city might approach something like this. Because I grew up in a rather, I would say, I grew up most of my life was spent in the city, so I didn't really know how other people from other parts of Malaysia were like. So my experience in UIA was quite an eye-opener. And then studies-wise, I guess I'm really fortunate to be in RKHS because we have 8 RK subjects, right, everyone?
Yes.
And those subjects, mashallah, they really opened my eyes to Islam. I never really knew Islam before UIA, and I'm proud to say that, alhamdulillah, I really love Islam after being in UIA. Oh.
How about you, Brother Rifdi?
Okay, why I choose UIA? First, I'm from CFS too. Because that time I was informed by my friend, or I think my brother. He was UIA student before. That time law is very famous. Law, okay. So I tended to do law actually, first place in CFS. But then I got engineering, engineering. But then I don't have like interest in that subject. Then I discussed with my father. Then I switched to human science. Then from there I went to here. Talking about my experience in IUM was very superb. Okay, because of what? The assignment, for sure, assignment. Study group, the lecturer. The lecturer is very, very amazing. Sorry. What else? My friends, very awesome. Okay. When I was in the first semester in IUM, actually I did pretty bad because that time I just lost my father. I lost my direction. I didn't know what to do. I lost hope. But then after that, I met awesome friends. Do you have friends here that always ask you during exam or midterm, hey, what did you get for your midterm? Hey, what did you get for psychology? What did you get for your assignment? Yeah, I have friends like that. So from that moment, okay, what's your CGPA? Or before that, I never think about my CGPA. Okay, CGPA, okay, okay. But then, alhamdulillah, I got my wake-up call, my hidayah. Then from semester to semester, my results improved. Alhamdulillah. Then talking about the assignments, my experience, I was really very into it, seriously, because I believe every task given by the lecturer, we need to finish it with a good quality for the end product. So from my side, I will make sure that every single assignment I will do it properly. For example, like we need to use proper grammar, we need to use proper research, make use of the library, online database, and all that. That's all. I think just like other person, go to class. But then I'm an off-campus student, so I don't know the life thing in the hostel actually. Okay, I think that's all from me.
Alright, as for me, first off, I did not come from the matric. I was a direct intake because I kind of grew up in a different environment. In high school, I actually attended international school. And so I finished with my A-levels. And because I grew up in a secular environment, I decided that I need to learn more about Islam. So UIA has been my first choice and has always been my only choice because I had an uncle who did Sharia law in UIA, and he told me about UIA. You come here, you can learn more about Islam. So I did my research and I applied for UIA. That was in late 2006. And at first, of course, it was really challenging because it was hard for me to get in because I came from a different background, and they did not accept someone who did not take SPM. But then I explained to them, I had my A-levels and I took my SAT because I came from an American system. And later on, I had to, write letters and whatnot, spoke to the rector, and then they accepted me, after like struggles just to get into UIA. So as I got into UIA, I was really grateful because, you get what you want, right? And so my experience in UIA, it has really opened up my eyes. I learned more about Islam. Sometimes I ask ridiculous questions in IRK classes because sometimes it's basic for all of those, right? For all of you, but for me it's something new because the way what I studied was totally different. And although I did study, I did read the Quran or the Muqaddam when I was younger, but I did not learn Islam in depth, right? So I was always questioning. So UIA has taught me a lot in terms of that. And because, as a Muslim, of course, you need to learn about your religion. Yes, but talking about political science, I've always enjoyed my classes because since I was younger, I've always, been interested in taking up political science as my major, as my course. And alhamdulillah, I had great lecturers. I've always been, whenever I had problems, I always consult with my lecturers, and they have always been supportive. And I'm grateful to that. It seems like, with UIA, the advantages that you get in studying UIAs is because you learn both worldviews. It's basically the Western and Islamic worldviews. So you have a balance of life. It teaches you not to go extreme or defect. You're actually learning about moderation. Moderation in Islam, moderation in life, the way of life. So I think the knowledge that I gain in UIA is complete so far. But of course, learning is a life process. You don't stop learning. Even when you get old, you still have to learn. And regardless of what, even when you're working, you're still learning new stuff, in life. And I'm learning everything. I'm learning new things every single day, especially when I'm dealing with the world. And, because I deal with, not only with other NGOs, I'm engaging with the United Nations as well. I'm engaging with the government as well and other NGOs worldwide. So every day is a life learning process. Yeah.
All right, thank you for that. Speaking of skills and knowledge and the programs that you've attended and whatnot, how have that experience in UAE, learning here in UAE itself, helped you in your working field? Perhaps Brother Rifdi, you could answer that question.
Okay, my major is sociology and anthropology. Okay, so basically the subject that I took in sociology, for example, like sociology and anthropology. Sorry, introduction to sociology, introduction to anthropology. What else? Ethnic. What else? Ethnic certification and all that. Okay, it's been a long time. I left UAE. Okay. In UNHCR, I'm working as one of the interviewers. Okay, to those asylum seekers. Okay, in my case, I have to ask them, okay, why are you coming here? Why you left your country? What happened to you back then? Okay, from the moment they give, why the Rohingya left the country, Myanmar, because they didn't get any citizenship from the government, the Myanmar government. Okay, they've been oppressed by the society surround them because of the skin color and the religion itself. So what I learned in the class, for example, the ethnic certification, I applied during my case workload. Okay, what else?
How about your skills that you've learned throughout your study years?
Okay, skills. Okay, talking about skills, I still remember during the leadership class. Okay, what my leadership, who took leadership this time? Who take leadership? No one? Okay, one. Talking about how to be a good leader when you're in the group. That thing I applied during my teamwork in the office. How to become a good office mate. For example, you have to have that quality of the leadership. Then you cannot be like very selfish. when you are in a teamwork, when you're in a group, I think that's the skill that apply. Another thing is a matter of da'wah. How I actually give da'wah indirectly in the international office. Okay, the way I dress, it's not like to what obscene. Okay, because in this office, if you go there, it's very, very different. The culture, like in Malaysia. Then I go to pray. That's kind of like my da'wah to the even Islam. I have clear Islam, which they're not following the order. Okay, that's what I practice in my office actually.
How about you, Sister Hilda?
I was very active in clubs and society when I was in UIA. I joined Misi Club. Have you heard of Misi Club?
Yes.
Okay, so you guys know that they do community service as well as da'wah in Sabah and Sarawak, right?
Yes.
Who's from Misi Club here? Okay, I know 2 persons back there. They're very shy. They're hiding from me. Anyone else? Okay, never mind. Okay, so I took part in Misi Club. So I traveled to Sabah and Sarawak to do community service. So actually that's how I got engaged in my current job right now. It's because of the skills that they have taught me in how to deal with people skills. They taught me about writing proposals. They taught me about reporting, and as well as doing assessment on the needs of the beneficiaries. We call it beneficiaries, or the needs of the vulnerables. That's what Misi Club taught me, and that's how I apply it to my current job right now, which is doing humanitarian aid and assistance. As well as I took English debate when I was in university, so that improved or helped me with my communication skills as well as English, and I participate in various tournaments as well. So in UIA there are a lot of activities in clubs and societies that you can join that actually can improve yourself for the better, improve your soft skills. The important things about to enter a career, to get a job in the future, is actually what they really look at is your soft skills. Not necessarily your CGPA, but how you answer well during the interviews. And they want to see the people skills that you have, the communication skills that you have, and your writing skills as well, and your language skills. If you have more than 3 language or more than 2 language, it's an advantage for you to get the job. Basically, so I'm talking about how you actually, and my experience is what UIA taught me and how I applied these skills into my working life right now. Yeah.
Okay, so to me, the beauty about being an RKHS student, all of you, Ben, sociology, psychology, political science, the beauty about all the courses is that if you just think a little bit outside the box, you can actually apply practically every part of every subject in every aspect of your job. Okay, let's use this as an example. How many people here have taken or are taking sciences of hadith? Anyone? Okay, I see a raise of hands there. So you learn in sciences of hadith there's such a thing as masnad, sanad. Remember all those terms? Alright, so that's the chain of narrators. So you use this to determine the authenticity of the hadith. So if you're a bit creative, try applying this to the working world. Okay, when I was in Malaysia Convention Bureau, we had a lot of clients, a lot of international people coming in, and a lot of people. Even in UIA, when working right now, you deal with a lot of people. A lot of information is coming to you. So how do you determine which information to tackle first? So just use a bit of creativity. Use the masnad technique, the sanad technique, determine the authenticity, then apply that to your working world. Have you ever thought about that? That's one thing you can use. And something more specific for Ben students. In Ben, we learn about language, what people mean with their language, what they're trying to say with subjects like pragmatics. Pragmatics is basically like, you say something but you might not mean what you say. In critical discourse analysis, you learn that people might have hidden ideologies. So when I was dealing with business people, because of what I learned, I was like, this person might be saying something during his business proposal when he is presenting his tender presentation, but I was like, he's trying to say something else. And when I'm a lecturer, I'm like, this student says so and so. For example, I had a student last week say, sir, I didn't complete my work because I was sick. But when you learn Ben, you learn to read people, learn to understand people. So I was like, this student is trying to lie to me. So when I caught her lying just in an instant, I said, sorry, sir. So the beauty about architecture is that if you actually think outside of the box, you can use it for any situation, not just the working world, but even in your everyday life. Right?
Okay. All right. Are you proud to be a part of Kuliah Barang KHS, and why, Brother Rifdi?
Of course, proud to be IRKJ student. First, because I was a chess student, also minor in IRK. Second, because I learned the Western knowledge, and at the same time, I learned the revealed knowledge from the IRK subject. Okay, the third one, because RKHS opened up my eyes to see how the society work. Okay, from my background of sociology, I tend to relate what I have learned in my class. Okay, how the society is different to another, like in our culture, Malay culture, how it's different with the Chinese culture, Indian culture, and also this thing I apply in the office because we have Western culture, which is very opposite to our culture. That's why I'm really proud to be architecture student.
How about you, Hilda?
I wouldn't say that I'm proud, because proud is like such a strong word, as if, you're very, But I would say that I'm grateful that I've been a part of RKHS as well as HS itself, political science. I appreciate it very much, and because the knowledge that I gain, it's something that is priceless. Because knowledge, you can't buy knowledge, right? Of course, you have to pay for tuition fees and stuff, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? So I'm grateful, and I'm grateful to all my lecturers and my friends who have been supporting me with, during my study years, especially in political science, and it has shaped me to become a better person as well as citizen, and I'm still learning to become, a better person, personally, yeah. So.
Okay, just like Sister Hilda, I don't think proud is the right word. To me, Alhamdulillah, I really thank God for giving me the opportunity to be a student of IRKHS. Now, the reason I say that, some might not believe it. Number one, is because of the Arabic language. Your most dreaded subject over here, right? Yeah, but to me, learning all 6 levels of Arabic, okay, to some people like, oh my God, this is such a chore, 6 levels, ya Allah. That's what some of you might think. But to me, it's like, wow, because at that time I was trying to learn Islam. So when I learned Arabic, I was like, wow, now I start to really understand the Quran more. I get to understand Islam for a very different dimension. And then, because you learn up to level 6, which is considered intermediate, when you apply for a job, you can simply put that in your resume, and because you have some knowledge of another language, it actually helps you get a job. This is true. Okay, another reason why I really am happy to be in RKHS is because of the IRK subjects. It really opened my eyes to Islam. It showed me a side of Islam that I never really saw before. And another reason why I'm so happy to be a student of RKHS is because it's one of the only kuliah with so many majors that are so different yet so similar. Why do I say that? Because political science, you study systems. Sociology, you study society. Ben, you study language. But there's one thing that all of them share in common. You study humans. Now, society is important to humans. System is important to humans. Language too. You're actually studying how humans work. And best part is, I think the people at RKHS are one of the best in this university. A bit biased there, I guess.
Okay, so how about CGPA in this manner? Okay, does CGPA contribute much when applying for a job? How about, being, Brother Nazri, sorry, okay. Being a lecturer, CGPA is quite emphasized and whatnot, so...
Now you're making me self-conscious when it comes to marking my students, ya Allah.
Okay, so does it matter to when applying a job?
Does it matter? Okay, when I applied for my previous job at Malaysia Carpentry Bureau, the CGPA actually made a big difference. Now, just a 0.2 or 0.3 CGPA difference can make a difference of 1,000 ringgit and above. For example, okay, not to reveal my salary, I don't want to reveal that at all. So I was earning quite a good salary in my previous place, and the person who applied after me, her CGPA was around 3.4 or 3.3. But even though we had the same job, the same level, her salary was 900 ringgit less than me. So that shows how much of a difference CGPA can make. Even when I applied for my job in IUM, it did make a difference as well. So CGPA is important. Alright?
Okay, I do agree with Brother Nazri. CGPA is very important because it will give a benchmark for the employer to hire new staff, especially for the fresh graduates. So but it depends actually also which company you apply. But for UNSCR, we are not really look into the CGPA, but then we really look into how you can carry the work. But it depends how you deal with it, your interview, how you convince your future employer about you can help them, you can assist them, you can contribute something to the organization. So it depends to which company you apply. Okay? But then for the fresh graduates, this is my advice, you need to maintain at least 3 points above. At least 3 points above. Okay? This is very important.
Okay, wise advice, Sister Hilda? How about, does CGPA matter to you? I mean, when applying your job.
Right. I agree with both speakers. CGPA does matter when applying for a job because it does give you an advantage over others. However, but I think what matters most, sorry, I'm not discouraging you from studying, but it does matter. You need to score very high, at least 3-pointer. But you look at other aspects as well. You need the skills. You need your soft skills. You need communication skills. You need people skills, leadership skills, and you need to be able to handle pressure. There are so many other skills that you need to obtain as well. So during your life as a student, do not only focus on your studies, but try to be active as well. You have to be proactive. Go out there, join activities in clubs. So you learn the practical life of it as well. Instead of just theories, and you just have to be balanced in both practical as well as theory. So that is my perception because. When you deal, with my job, you deal a lot with people. You need the people skills. So, you just have to be very outgoing and active out there. Unless, I don't know, probably in academic addition, you encourage others to be more studious. But it depends. Really, it depends.
Okay. And in today's globalization world, graduates, there's thousands of graduates from various universities graduate every year. So how do you define job opportunity as a KIRKHS degree holder? What are the job opportunities for KIRKHS degree holders nowadays? Hilda?
All right. Whatever you do in life, for me, this is my principle. You always aim for the best. It doesn't matter whatever subjects you take, whatever subjects you major in, as long as you do it well and you do it with passion, because only that can take you far. in your real life right now, they don't really look at. Depends on the company you're applying. If you're applying for an engineering company, of course you need an engineer degree. However, if we're talking about IRKHS, it depends on where you're applying to. But I'm pretty sure there are a lot of jobs opportunities out there for us, students who graduate from IRKHS, especially in the governmental sectors or even in private sectors or even non-governmental sectors as well. Because what I feel that IRKHS, the advantage that we get from studying IRKHS is the skills that we obtain is quite different. It's more of human skills and soft skills, which is needed in today's society, especially in public relations and whatnot, right? So if you because if you look at the economy itself right now, Asia is booming. You see a lot of foreign investors. So our unemployment rate is very low right now. It's only 3% if you compare to the US and Europe. US is about 9%. Europe is about 11% unemployment rate. So there are opportunities out there for you graduates, for you RKHS major. So don't worry about it, regardless.
How about you, Brother Rifdi?
I do agree with Sister Hilda because being IRKHS graduates, we have the advantage as compared to other kuliah. I think because, again, of the soft skill, because basically all the subjects in IRKHS are dealing with the people. So the job opportunity for the IRKHS students are very vast, and at the same time very challenging because we don't know what position that we want to apply. So don't worry, you just apply whenever you got the opportunity, just apply. But don't worry with for example, if you are a psychology student, you want to apply in Petronas as public officer, corporate affairs, just apply because they will see your background. From your resume, they will know you involved in this society, this club, you have this experience, you went to overseas, you have the skill of communication. This will give you advantage as compared to, for me personally, it will give advantage compared to other kuliah because they are more dealing with dealing with machine as with the living machine, human. That's the advantage. Don't worry.
Okay, to me, there isn't really any specific job opportunity for IRKHS. We are very unique. To me, job opportunity is actually defined by you yourself. If you can see something within that particular field, by all means, go for it. It's like, for example, if you find an opening, even though it's something you don't want, just go ahead. Because you never know when within that particular field itself, you might be able to go somewhere else. Okay, take for example, I had a friend who worked as, I think she was a PR assistant at some company. She didn't want the job, but she applied for it. And then, she was an RKHS student, by the way. Okay, so when she worked there, they noticed that she had other soft skills because she was active in many programs. And they said, hey, why not you do the advertising part? So your career actually is based on how you project yourself in the working world. What is most important is actually to set your foot somewhere first. And then from there, you build the connections, you build a network, you develop a reputation, then you create your own opportunities. Because if you want to look for your dream job, it doesn't really exist, right? You have to create your own path towards your own opportunities. That's what I believe in.
All right, that's a very good advice. But how can you explain the reason why the job we tend to join or be into does not involve directly with the course we have taken during the undergraduate years? Okay, we know that when you're a medic student, you're going to be a doctor. If you're an engineering student, you're going to be an engineer. If you're a law student, you're going to be a lawyer. But IRKHS student, there's no specific job title. So how can you explain, with there's not specific job title, how can you explain why?
Because RK students are unique. Agree with Brother Nazir, we are unique because, again, I emphasize this, we are dealing with human, with people, with society. That's why we don't have like specific job to apply. So basically, like my experience, I end up being in UNHCR as interviewer. But during my uni time, I've not been taught being an interviewer. So basically, the thing that you learn in uni or under the Kuliah of RKHS will somehow help you to explore. Okay, again, like my case, when I'm doing my interview, I use the concept that I learned and apply it into my case, apply it into the working field of mine. That's why we are unique. Okay?
Alright. How about you, Brother Nazri?
Can you repeat the question again?
Okay, how can you explain why the jobs that we tend to join are not exactly related to the subjects we've taken in our undergraduate years?
Okay, to me it's that way because it lets us really enjoy the wonders of life. That's how I see it. Now the best analogy for this, in my opinion, is look at the Quran. Does it tell you exactly what to do in every part of life? Yeah, it covers it generally, but does it tell, okay, you must wake up at this particular time, do so and so? It doesn't tell that. It just gives you guidelines. So it's the same concept with RKHS. It just gives you guidelines on how to see things, how to explore things. So that, to me, is the most unique part about RKHS.
Okay, well said. How about you, Sister Hilda?
Having a degree is just like a ticket to enter the world, the real world, to enter the working world. So it doesn't really matter, like again, what you study, as long as you really put effort and you put passion into it, and you apply the knowledge that you get. Because in the working world, they don't really look at what degree you hold. It's actually, again, how you project yourself and how committed you are into the work and how serious you are willing to work for that job. Yeah, so basically it's really up to you on how serious you are and how much you wanted it, and just try to put effort and work hard for it. Yeah.
Okay, and based on your experience and observation, what are the demanded expectations from employers for graduates these days? What are the expectations?
I would say communication skills, basically people skills and soft skills. That's what they're demanding. I mean, the employers are demanding right now. Because as you see, first of all, I would say English is very important today when you enter the working life. Yeah, it's really important actually, and how serious you are actually in getting that job, and it's in the interview. Oh yes, and when you go for interview, please do your homework. Meaning that study for that company that you're applying for, do research on it, because they will ask you about what you know about their company and how you can actually contribute to the company that you're applying for. Yeah.
Expectation from the employer. First, agree with Sister Hilda, the communication skill. Second, how you project yourself during the interview, whether you come to the interview with sloppy dress, okay? How you portray yourself during the interview is very important. Wear very decent dress. The third one is willing to sacrifice. Okay, when you're applying for job, don't think like, okay, I will, for example, working hour 8 to 4 p.m. 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. But in the real world, working field, it will not happen. You will go back at 4. Okay? So you need to have that quality of willing to sacrifice your money, your time. This is very important because employer is very looking into this because they are much into seeking for the persons who are very committed, because from the interview they know whether you are committed or not to the post that you apply. This is very important. Okay, Nazri?
Okay, from what I observed, basically what employers look for, they look for people who are creative, people who can bring new ideas to the table. Because what is the purpose of hiring a new person if the person can't bring something new to the table? Why hire someone who's just the same old thing all over again? They want new ideas, new people, new perspectives, new paradigms. That's what they're looking for. That's why they want young people, because young people are supposed to be creative, they're supposed to be really aggressive, they're supposed to be really, they have so much things going in their heads. But the thing is, when they come to the interview, and just as Mr. Hilda said, you have to really do research on whoever you're applying for, because whether you realize or not, when you work, you are actually becoming the image of your employer. You're actually representing that company. So you have to know how can you add to that and how can you be a part of that. Why should they want you? You have to make them want you, right? Okay.
And if you were given a choice, would you prefer to work or just remain a student? Rather than since you're holding the mic?
Both.
Why?
Because being a student gives you opportunity to learn new things, of course, knowledge. But then at the same time, I also want to work because I want to help my mother, my family. Also want to get married and support my family once I have the wife and kids. So basically, both. But then I intended to do master, but not at the moment, because need to stabilize first financially. Okay.
All right, Sister Hilda.
For now, I would prefer working, because with working, I learn a lot actually just by working, because I still study while working. I do research on the countries, because I deal a lot with the world, with issues actually, current affairs, world issues. So that's the same as what I study during political science. Because political science, I studied about world governance and whatnot. So the knowledge I get, I'm applying, and I'm still reusing the knowledge that I gain from UIA. So I prefer working right now as well, because we need to earn a living.
Yeah,
So I need to save up before I can continue my master's. So yeah.
Okay. For me, it's kind of hard to think of that as a question, because to me, we have to continuously learn in life. The learning process never really stops. Just in the Quran, the very first verse that was revealed, Iqra, read. When you read, what happens to us? We learn something. Learning is a continuous process that we can never stop no matter what. You can't say, okay, I graduated, I don't want to learn anymore. That is the problem in many graduates. That's why they don't move forward, because they refuse to learn. They deny their opportunity to learn. And to me, it's almost unimaginable to not want to study or learn anymore, because learning is an ibadah. Especially if you put your thought into it, especially if you have that niyat lillahi ta'ala, it's an ibadah. So it's almost unimaginable to want to stop performing in ibadah. So to me, everything in life is considered a learning experience. Even when I teach, I'm just imparting my knowledge. I learn a lot of things from my students, a lot of things I never knew before. They taught me a lot of things. For example, when I gave them a break in class, I said that it's good to have intervals for break, because it lets you refresh your mind. And then a student came up to me, sir, there's actually a hadith that says that taking a nap in class is good. I didn't even know about that. I learn a lot of new things every day from my students, and not just from my students, from my colleagues, from my friends, from my families. The learning process never really stops. That's why I strongly believe it.
Alright, thank you. Last question. What would be your advice for students preparing in facing the outside world?
Taking a nap in class.
Rather,
Yang aku tak taking.
First, actually I have the list for that.
You can read it if you want to.
Betul. Dah. Saya dah cinta.
Be prepared.
Ini soalan dia.
First, mentally must be strong. Okay. Second, you must have a clean heart because you need to purify your intention why you study in the first place. Second, what going to do after you graduate? Certainly to find halal job. Okay, not to become like glamorous with the job that you are seeking for. The third one must be skillful. Join all the activities that you can. From there you can build up your soft skill, how you can communicate very well with people. Okay? Number 4, be smart. Be smart the way you think, the way you dress. Okay? Number 5, you must have passion. Number 6, tawakal. 6, tawakal. And lastly, doa. Okay?
Soalan macam ibu lama ya.
Thank you, President.
Amin.
Alright. To me, it all. What's the question again?
Ya
Your advice.
Oh, advice for everyone. Alright.
Yeah.
To me, one of the best advice I can think of is be the best Muslim possible. Because when you're the best Muslim, you'll have the cleanest heart possible. You have the best intention possible. You have a really clear goal in life. And when you have that in mind, it's easy for you to find out what you have to do in life. Because all of us are created for a purpose. So when you're the best Muslim possible, everything inshallah will be clear. That's number 1. Number 2, let's see. First I said be the best Muslim. And then you also have to be very creative. You have to be fresh. You always have to add something new because you are competing with practically the whole country. Every year there are more and more students joining universities, and there are more universities sprouting out of nowhere, right? Like for example, in CFS this semester we have 6,000 new students. Last time when I first joined CFS, there were only 2,000 new students. So there are more and more people to compete with. So you always have to be creative. You have to always be at your edge. How can I add something new to the workforce? That's my advice.
Okay. Last but not least, Mr. Hilda.
Alright, my advice is to know what you want and believe in yourself. You know, always aim for whatever you have planned. If the first plan doesn't go well, then go for your second plan. You know, always have a plan A and plan B in what you want in life, and never give up. You know, for example, if you didn't get your A plan, go for your B plan and work hard to go back to your A plan. So it's always like that. Never give up in life and always strive for your best.
Alright. That's a very wise advice coming from all of our panelists today. So now we would like to open the floor for question and answer session. So for those who have questions, you can actually go to the mic, but you have to introduce yourself as well as your department. Sorry. So anyone with questions that you'd like to ask the panelists?
Pergi mic ke depan tu. Pergi mic ni ke masuk. Tak boleh datang, sorry, because ada kelas. Okay.
Okay, perhaps I could ask a question. I mean, Sister Hilda and Brother Rifdi, you guys are working in a multicultural environment. So how do you, because here in UAE we're not exempt, especially in your workforce.
In Malaysia. Well, multicultural as in, are you talking about the race that we have in Malaysia? The majority Malaysian, Indian?
Yes.
Okay. It's normal to me, I guess. It's because I've not only engaged with these Malaysians inside of UIA, but as outside as well. And I've always been mixing well with the Chinese and Indians, if this is what you're asking me right now. Yeah, so, and apart from having the Chinese and Indians and Malays, we also have international employees as well. Like we have a Japanese as our general manager, and we have a French guy as our consultant, and as well as a Swiss as well. Yeah, so it's international again. It's not really specifically confined to the Malaysian context. Yeah.
Brother Rifdi?
Come again, question?
You are working, I'm sure you're working in a multicultural environment, so how do you adapt and cope with that?
For me, I don't have problem with that no problem because I think in my office we have like a lot of, I think, Indians, Chinese, US, French. So I don't have any problem dealing with them. Even with the event that we organize, we sometimes communicate with each other. Sometimes we used to go to other unit and asking for files. That's how we communicate. I think no, in terms
Language
of
barrier?
no language barrier, because basically all English spoken.
Alright. Is there any questions from the floor that you're burning to ask? Anyone? No?
I have a question for them. All right. First of all, who are their final year student here? Raise your hand. Who is in their final year? Come on. All right. Okay, brother right there. So my question for you is, what is your purpose of coming here tonight? Yes, please come to the mic. We want to know as well. We want to know from our audience, why did they come here and why they chose to be here?
Okay, so good morning. Thanks for asking. Okay, honestly, I'm the representative for Sociology and Psychology of Human Students Association, SOCASA. Okay, but I was told that this is a kind of sharing moment between the graduate students and the students from my KHS kuliah, and I would like to actually learn something from the speakers about the interview session to continue master or to work, because I've discussed with my father, with my colleagues about because we are in human science students, we need to be at the field first before we proceed with master. Is it true that we need to be at the work field before we can really ensure about our future in doing master?
Okay, I will pass to Brother Nazri. As a lecturer, I think he can answer better.
I agree.
Okay, I guess
Tak payah nak agree sangat.
Alright, to me it really depends on what career path you want, what kind of job you want. You have to really research what company you want to work for, because this might seem like a shocking fact to everyone, and I just discovered this a few months back. For a lot of companies, having a master's too early can be a liability. The reason is because they want fresh graduates. So when you come in with a master's, they're like, alamak, you have to pay him too much. They don't know where to place you. You know, that's the thing that's happening now. And they're like, okay, this person has no experience at all. Why should we hire this person? He's a bit too overqualified. Oh, budget. Yeah, we cannot pay for this person anymore. That is the reality, because I help a few people with human resources work, part-time stuff. And back in my old company, I also helped out with that. So I noticed that having a master's can be a very risky thing, unless you know there's a specific career that requires a master's, like for example, maybe lecturing, or maybe most of the psychology-related jobs where you really need a specialized master's. So if you know exactly what you need to do in life, then by all means go for it. But if you're not sure, expose yourself to the world first. Try every single option. Once you find something you're comfortable with and you know that that particular employer requires a master's for progression, then go for it. Otherwise, it'll make it slightly harder for you. But again, if you know how to present yourself during the interview, you can actually make yourself acceptable. It's all defined by how you do it during the interview. That's the most important thing. All right.
Rifdi, do you want to add to that?
It depends also if you want to pursue in postgraduate, because for me It's your desire, what you want in your life. Whether you want to work first or you want to pursue your study, it depends on your intention or your desire actually. So it should be no problem if you want to work first or if you want to continue with your master. For me, it's no problem.
You want to? Okay. Any more questions? Sisters?
Tak know.
Rifdi, do you have a question? Okay, Cecilia, you have a question.
Well, since the audience, they're pretty shy, I think. I know I'm a former student as well, so I know I'm used to it. I want to know who's from political science here. Anyone from political science? Minoring in political science? Please raise your hand. Don't be shy. No political science students. Well, too bad. What about history? There's so many history students here, right? I saw hands previously. No, none of them are raising their hands. Anyone? Come on. Okay, yes, sister. Please stand up. All right, sister. The purpose of you coming here is to learn about, probably career prospects, right? So I'm curious, as a history students, what are your ambition basically? Yes, please come. And what can we do to help you?
Actually, I was about to ask you that.
Me?
No, all of you.
Okay.
I was about to ask you that.
What's your question?
What was your question?
What sister does it?
Suka hati je.
I mean, like, what ambition do history student have?
So you're a history major.
Yeah, I don't really know why I have. I've been chosen to history.
Okay, what is your passion actually? What is your...
Actually, I wanted to join political science, but I got history, and then I was about to change to political science, but my history result is higher than political science.
Oh, that's why you enroll in history
So I
and
can't change it.
Oh, you can change.
Yeah.
So okay, we put aside first your major first. Okay, I want to ask you, what do you like? What do you like to do? Do you like to sing?
No.
Do you like photography?
I love to play games.
Play games?
Yeah.
Okay, beside games, what skills do you have?
I actually don't discover it yet, so...
How old are you?
21.
Oh, 21. Oh, still young.
Dah tak ada.
Okay, still young. Okay, do you have friends like...
Second year.
There are time they... Okay, what's your name again?
Satu.
Okay, no. Okay, no. Do you have friends like... Okay, no. Actually, you are good in drawing.
Yeah, how did you know?
You are good in drawing. Okay, why not? Okay, you pursue first or you continue your study in history, but then after you graduate, why not you like to be a artist?
Artist, like singing?
Drawing?
Yeah, okay, huh? Yeah, I would love to be like that, but...
Okay, just chase your dream. Okay, again, according to Cecil, this ticket, you have a degree. It's ticket for you to be in the working field. Okay, but then since you like drawing, you can become artist. Okay, artist, since you are a history student, why not you can draw something like very historic.
Draw something.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't really know. And history drawing.
Okay, but then you can use your skill of drawing to earn money. Okay, degree you got one hand. Second hand, you got your drawing skill. This will help you in future, believe me. Not necessarily if you enroll in history, subject history major, you become like historian. You're working in a museum. No, it will not. It depends on you. You choose what you want to be. You choose what you want to be. But the knowledge that you gain during your study time here, you will help with me.
Yes, I believe you.
Believe me. Okay?
By
I think
the
that's
way,
why. Okay.
why do people always forget about history?
Sorry.
No, I was just joking.
Okay, I mean, all three of our speakers said that the skills are also very important. That's why it's you have to, whatever time you have here.
Second year, alright. So you say you're stuck, you don't know what to do really major-wise, right?
Yeah.
And then you have your hobbies. So you draw, what else you do?
Play games.
Play games, okay. The thing about skills and hobbies is some people think, that is a waste of time, just a skill, just a hobby. But my advice is pursue them, maintain them, and try to improve yourself at that. Because believe it or not, all these small things in the end, they will build up and they will actually help you in the end. For example, I used to love editing people's work and criticizing people's English and correcting things here and there. It actually helped me a lot. When I was in the Torch, I actually helped edit all the articles. And then when I graduated in my first job, oh Nazri, you're good at editing, right? Okay, can you edit all these documents and everything? It gives you more opportunities. And then within IIUM itself, I'm asked to edit thesis, I'm asked to edit research, I'm asked to edit even exam papers. So see where your passion can bring you. I had a friend, I'm not sure she's here right now, she likes to draw a lot. So when you draw, you never know. People might notice it and say, hey, why not you draw something for us? I have friends who write a lot. So if you write and they say, hey, you write very well, why not you join us and work for us? So maintain those hobbies, maintain those skills. They will help you. Now, when it comes to majors, on the other hand, are you struggling with the subject, sister?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, my best advice is find something that you're comfortable in. Don't worry what major it is. Like from my personal experience, when I first joined this university, like Rifdi, I was actually an engineering student. I was enrolled here as an engineering student. Then I changed to architecture. I don't know why. Maybe just give it a shot because I like drawing. Also, like you, I like drawing. And then after some time, I was like, maybe I can't do this for a living. So I changed to English. Don't be afraid to experiment because life is too short. You have to try everything as long as it's halal. Of course, don't try something that's not halal. Alright? So there's so much in this world to learn. So just don't be afraid to change. Don't care about what people say. You're a switcheroo or you like to jump here and there. So what? You want to learn new things. Learning is an ibadah. What's important is that you can do it well. That you can do it passionately. Don't let anyone stop you. Don't let yourself stop you. Now, the biggest factor why a lot of people don't really succeed 100% is because they let themselves stop their dreams. For example, this is not so good. People will say bad things. Who are these people? You're just saying it to yourself. So if you remove that from your head, say, hey, why not? Why not? Just try it. You never know what happens. If it's bad, what I learned from a few important people in my life, if something is bad, then okay, that's a sign from Allah. Go to something else. If you change the way you look at things, you'll realize how positive and how colorful life is. So my advice is just do anything you like. Don't be afraid of what people say and don't be afraid of what you think about it. Just try it. That's my advice for you.
But what if our parents?
Parents.
Yeah, parents.
the epic and tough question. Okay, when it comes to parents, I had experience with that, so I can say a bit about it. You have to prove to yourself, because you have to understand the parents' perspective. They are worried. They want the best for their children. Okay, I'm not a parent, so maybe it doesn't sound authentic enough. But you have to understand that parents, they are worried because things today are different from their time. Their time might be slightly different, the circumstances might be a bit different. So they don't really know how difficult it is today. But if you can prove to them, you can show to them that this is what you really want to do, and you can show that it's halal and it can actually help you get better, and then you actually show the commitment, you do research, see, this is what I can do if I take this path. If you do that, then inshallah, they should accept you. If they don't, pray to Allah. Like for me, it took me around 2 years to convince my parents that English was the best path. 2 years. I think 2 or 3 years. When I changed to English, at first they didn't want to accept it. Until I proved to them, alhamdulillah, my results of my first and second semester and all my semesters after that, I proved to them that I could do very well, and with all the other things I do in other activities. Yeah, so it's all about working hard. Don't give up, even if it seems impossible, because this is my philosophy. As long as you're alive, that means Allah is giving you a chance. Life itself is an opportunity. It's all about how you look at things. So as long as you're alive, do it as long as it's halal. If it's haram, don't do it.
Thank you. Brother Rifdi, you
Okay,
wanna-
talking about parents. Okay,
You can have a seat actually.
because I had this experience. Because first I enrolled as engineering student. Then my father was very, very proud. I think, very proud because according to him, we don't have any any family members who become engineer. Then my father, why not you just continue maintain engineering? Oh my God, I don't like engineering. Then what I did, okay, ayah, see my result, almost failed. Almost failed. Okay, like you can change. Okay, because I really wanted to do human sciences. I really wanted to do human sciences. Then I got the chance to switch course. So that's my advice. If you want to change, but don't fail. Show the result. Okay, this is the proof that you don't like it. Follow what your heart says. Okay, do what you like. Okay, as long as halal. Okay.
Any advice?
What I always believe in the 3 S's, achieving or seeking for opportunity. In life, you always have to seek the opportunity, see the opportunity, and when you see the opportunity, you seize it, right? So always believe in the opportunity. There are always opportunities out there. Whenever you get it, grasp it, and you will always, you will inshallah achieve the dream that you have always wanted.
Any more questions from the floor? Please, sister. Introduce your name and department.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. My name is Aina, and I'm a final student. I'm a third year, first semester student, and I'm majoring in both linguistics and literature, inshallah. And I know this is a talk about life after graduation and career, but can I ask you guys about how you study? Because I want to know how, when you guys studied, there must be some subjects that you didn't quite like. So for me, I have some subjects that I can't force myself to like. And when I'm the kind of person that when I study and I don't like a certain subject, then I'm not able to score in it well. So how do you guys force yourselves to study a subject that you don't have any passion in it? Thank you.
Okay. As for me, my worst subject was Arabic. Sorry to say this, I really had problems with Arabic. That was like the only subject that I struggled in. And believe it or not, yes, I admit I failed many times in Arabic, but I never gave up. So I've always, when there was a subject that I didn't like, I had to force myself to like it, to learn it, to love it, in order for me to score. at least if not, I don't score, at least to pass it, because for me, Arabic was really tough, maybe because I did not have, much of background to it. But what I did was I always had study groups, with my friends. I tend to seek help from my Arab-speaking friends, and they've always been helpful and useful, and I've always consulted with my lecturers, with my ustads and ustazah to help me with passing the subject. Yes.
Seriously, Arabic, because I didn't have any background or basic in Arabic language. So what I did, just like Hilda, get into study group. You have to force yourself. This is the time you want to learn and to pass the subject. Otherwise, it will, even though it's 0.5, it still affects your result, right? But then you have to force yourself to like it. Okay? You have to force. This is the only time. Because now I realize how important the Arabic language, because in UNHCR we do also have the Arab who came to seek protection. But then I think there's one moment whereby I need to explain the card, or I mean the letter to him. So I use very basic word, this rakam tarikh mais muka and all that. But still I apply what I learned in UIA. It was very helpful for me. So grab this opportunity to learn. I think this is your second language, your third language. Grab it, because it will help you in the future when you face this kind of situation, when maybe in the street Arab guy asks you the direction, don't know how to speak English, then you can apply this language. Okay?
Okay, for me, and this can be used for any subject actually, the key is to not force yourself. Yeah, it's opposite to these two people, I know. This is going to sound very controversial. I would say that you shouldn't force yourself, because if you force yourself, your niyat is not proper. Try and think about it. All the subjects that you force yourself to study, do you remember it after the semester after that? No, it doesn't become ikhlas. So you have to change your perspective. You should not force yourself. You should see, how can you love this subject? How can this subject help you be a better person? How can this subject help you contribute to the ummah? That's how I would see things. That's method number one. I have several methods, of course. Method number two, if that doesn't work, like, I can't do it at all, ask around. Now, this is the biggest weakness of Malaysians in general. We have that proverb, segan bertanya sesat jalan. I guess a lot of people are lost right now because they don't ask anything. So that's the thing, we have to make asking a culture. I know in class sometimes, it's always that person asking, Apo yola. It happens in the class that I teach. And I actually kind of punish my students who don't ask questions. Alright, so back to my point, you have to ask people. You have to ask both the smart people and the not so smart people. Because the smart people will see things from one perspective. The not so smart people will also see things from a different perspective. So when you have both perspectives, you get a very big perspective of the subject and maybe the subtopic. This is method number two, ask people. Number three, always remember, in Islam, what is learning all about? It's an ibadah, right? So if you think that learning every subject is an ibadah, would you feel like, I have to do this so I can get more of Allah's rewards? So it's all about perspective. Now, if that is so hard, try seeing the lecturer, because 99.99% of the time, lecturers are they're just human. They're not robots, they're not lions, they don't want to eat you up. They want to help you to score. They are paid to help you to be the best people possible. That's if they take their responsibility seriously. I hope all of them do. So, just talk to your lecturer, have a chat, say, okay, I'm having trouble with this, so how did you do it during your time, sir or madam? Get their perspective. You never know how they can help you. Alright? So that's my advice for you.
Any more questions? Sister Hilda, you want to? Oh, you were to answer the question. Any more questions? Brother Hafiz at the back.
Tak payah. Okey, kita start lain.